Welcome to the inaugural stream for AggieCentral with special guest Aggies today. We're going to talk the Shadrach Banks transfer, Demas getting on the field, recruiting the trio of Bryce Foster, Tumishe, and LJ Johnson, sleepers from our 18, 19, and 20 class, predictions for the 2022 class, and the Lane controversy. Get ready. Here we go.
This is the beta run again of the first stream for AggieCentral, technically.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited to be here with who everybody's going to know on Twitter and Instagram as Aggies Today. So I'm not sure if this is what people thought you were going to look like or not.
Oh, yeah.
How do you think
Yeah.
that typically lines up?
So many people think I'm like a grown man. They think I'm like there was one guy that was telling me he thought I was like a teacher. Like he envisioned me in his head as a teacher. I was like, all right, I guess that's the vision people got for me, but I'm not that old. I'm not a teacher. So
We talked about a little bit of this last time. One of the things I was thinking about, though, I really had it pictured in my mind too, that you live somewhere around College Station. I mean, you don't have to get into where you live and that sort of thing. I guess, but I had it in my mind. There's no doubt you lived in College Station, right?
yeah. Dude,
To,
I wish that'd be awesome. That's all. I've asked my parents a few times to move to College Station, just like as a joke. But if they one day say yes, I'm not gonna be mad.
One day they'll do it. Dream home, for sure. Right outside of College Station, maybe in the Snook area, somewhere it's not too expensive for housing. 30-minute drive in. Don't have to stay at a hotel for games.
Yeah.
So I know you kind of saw the topic list or whatever. I'm curious to see what you were feeling about some of those things. But I saw Shadrach just landed at TCU, I think, this last week. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I live around the Fort Worth area, so I do keep up with TCU fairly well, and I hope it's a good landing spot for him. But you do expect him to land in Big 12, or do you have any idea where that might be going?
So there was a little bit. I think it was about. Oh man, I can't remember exactly when, but there was a few times where he had told me that he was about to decommit whenever he was committed. He hadn't signed yet, and he told me he was going to go to Auburn at that time. So whenever it first happened, I was like, it's either Auburn or TCU. And apparently Auburn, for whatever reason, I don't think they liked him at linebacker, I guess. So they immediately went out, and then apparently the whole Texas rumors came out, and that got a little interesting. For a little bit, it kind of looked like Texas was making ground, but it ended up being TCU. I wasn't too shocked about it being TCU because there's so many North Shore guys there. They have Zach Evans, they have that DB, I can't remember his name, but it's just full of North Shore kids. So I wasn't too shocked about it, but it's going to be a good landing spot for him, I think.
Yeah. There was a lot of rumors, kind of flying around about, why the decommitment happened. I'm not sure if you can share any light on that, or if, you even knew much about it, but I'm sure people would love, to hear. You kind of get a little bit of a vibe. I think I heard at one point there was an issue like in the meeting room or something like that, but just not really sure what the validity is of that. And I don't like to spread rumor. It's not a good way to go.
Yeah. I talked to him a little bit about it, and then I talked to Demas about it because him and Demas are really close.
Mm-hmm.
And what I got from it was it's probably just a small part of it. That's probably not the whole thing, but he just didn't feel like he really fit in with the social group of it. So he kind of felt like he was off to the distance a little bit. And that kind of, I think that kind of shocked him whenever he got there. And I think that kind of started the whole downfall of it. But, yeah. I wouldn't be shocked if there was other factors about him being asked to go to linebacker or something like that. I totally expect that to be a possible situation why that he did leave.
That's really odd. Whenever we were recruiting him, I remember, tweeting at him and saying like, wow, this guy's a wide receiver. I was looking at him thinking he was a linebacker or something with the size that he had, right? Dude's built like a bulldozer. So is that something he was legitimately considering, or just didn't want to mess with the linebacker idea, or what?
I think it kind of varied on the school he was looking at. I think at A&M he was a little bit hesitant to go to linebacker just because of how we've recruited linebacker. And I don't think he would have came here as a linebacker if we were recruiting him at a high school as a linebacker. So I think he kind of realized linebacker might be his best shot, and that might have been another reason he might have gone in. And it wouldn't shock me if he did, just because of that reason.
So you're thinking we wanted to keep him more as a wide receiver, but he was kind of, seeing the writing on the wall that maybe linebacker was his best shot, but we were still kind of thinking wide receiver for him.
I'm pretty sure I was talking to somebody and I heard that we gave him a shot at both positions. And I mean, we were giving him a deadline about something. I think if he really wanted to play receiver, they had the opportunity from there. But if you also wanted to try linebacker, the opportunity was here.
Interesting. Not sure too many guys even have the opportunity really to go back and forth. Maybe just some of those guys that are recruited as a linebacker and they're, kind of on the small side, and then 2 or 3 years later, they grow up and they're more of a defensive end or something, I guess is more typical way that takes place. But well, that's interesting. I read an article, I think it was this last week on SDS. Not sure if you keep up with them too much or whatever, but they were making an argument that we had one of the best wide receiver cores in the SEC. I mean, with Shadrack's departure, what do you think about that?
I don't know about being one of the best in the SEC. I mean, Ole Miss has some good guys. Georgia always has some dudes. Alabama, I don't know. It depends, because the thing is, I think if you want to put us in that conversation, we have to have a little bit more consistency out of Chase Lane. And then you have to have Demas emerge, obviously. I want to see Hezekiah have a little bit more of a big play potential every time I give it to him, because this last season, whenever we give it to him, it's kind of just like more of a check down each time. But I do think if we want to be in that conversation, we're going to have to have a true number one, I think. I think that's something we're lacking right now, is a true number one.
Yeah, I think that's the same knock they kind of gave on us as well. Probably pretty standard or whatever. I think, Jimbo's given high praise to Demas in the last, a few coaches' nights. So looks like he's maybe filling him out and liking his progress. I guess Anias feels like a number one a little bit. Maybe it's lacking a breakout exactly, but maybe he doesn't have the go up top ability like Demas might possess with his size and height. But maybe we can safely get us in the top 3, perhaps. Yeah,
I mean, it's possible, man. We have a lot of potential at the receivers position, so it'll be exciting. Yeah, for sure.
And it's a position group I would not have, I think, ever even considered we might be in the top 3 in the SEC. But hey, I think things are changing. I'm pretty excited about it. I mean, same thing goes for defensive line. And cornerbacks have transformed. I mean, I'm excited. I know.
Yeah. Defensive line, especially defensive line. It's insane how much talent we have at the defensive line right now.
So with that being said, let's just go kind of start off with this when it comes to Demas. Do you expect him to be on the field September 4th?
Yeah. He's going to be there. Yeah.
He's going to be there. So yeah. He'll start camp off. He's going to win a number 1 or a starting position.
Yeah, it looked like in spring he was the top 3 guy each time. So they were changing it in and out a little bit. They're putting Moose in there. They're giving Moose a few snaps there. It looked like a lot of Nice was the number 1 guy. I think he's the only guy who really has a spot locked into the starting rotation. But I wouldn't be shocked to see Demas be starting. I think he will.
Yeah, that's exciting. I know everybody else in the stadium wanted to see him play. We've been all chomping at the bit. We really think very highly of that guy, right? I mean, we're talking about being in that number 1 conversation. I know Alabama's got, they just finished up with Waddle and Smith, as a Heisman, and potentially have Mechie, I think, trying to take over that number 1 spot this next year. So if Demas can do it for us, or somebody else, you never know who might come out of nowhere. I mean, Wademeyer is not exactly a wide receiver, but neither was Pitts, right?
Yeah,
that's exciting. I do hope we see him. I'm looking forward to him.
Yeah, he'll be there. I can guarantee that he'll be there. he'll finally. I think he'll finally be able to get a good amount of snaps to where we'll finally be able to get a full grasp on where he's progressed, especially route running, because he's looked really good route running as well. Because he sent me a few clips from practice, and he looked really good.
Do you think it's just a simple matter of Jimbo's trust?
Not
Not that he doesn't trust Demas, but like that's how he decides if he's ready to play you.
Yeah. I think I think that's mainly why we never really saw any hesitation from Jimbo's part with Kellen. It's because he trusts Kellen all the time. So you never really saw other guys get a shot. And that worked out for Jimbo. I mean, Orange Bowl champion.
Hey, speaks for itself.
Uh-huh.
How about Cup? What you think he's going to be in the starting rotation? We're going to go two tights more often. What?
I think we will. I think sadly we might abandon the spread a little bit, even though we didn't quite go through that too much this season. But I do think we're going to see a little bit more two tight end action, especially if Cup is healthy. And even if you see Blake Smith healthy, I think you can see a lot of two tight end action because I know they really like Blake Smith.
Really? Yeah, love to see Cup out there. I know he's been through it the last 2 years with the injuries. I guess they held him out of the spring game just for precautionary reasons. Yeah.
Precautionary. Right now, I was talking to him a little bit while back, and he told me it was full running and everything. He feels great.
Yeah. Getting back to Demas just a little bit, because I thought it was kind of maybe an interesting parallel. I think it was maybe about this time last year when Leon O'Neal hit the transfer portal. Maybe I got my time frame off just a little bit or something. But, he went through that point and he wasn't real sure, if he was coming back or not coming back. He decided to come back, and man, that guy is a blessing to have on the team. I feel like he is a leader. He's charged up. You think Demas is doing some parallel action to that?
And looking at the transfer portal?
Well, not that he was looking at it necessarily, but just, you kind of see the adversity that's been kind of taking place. People have been speculating whether or not he's going to transfer because he's not really getting the playing time. One of the people I look at too on Twitter is Footwork King to see what he's kind of saying. He seems to have an inside scoop on, Demas as well. And he was always adamant about, no, he's not going anywhere. He's staying put. I just kind of thought, it was maybe Leon has worn off a little bit on some of the younger guys and has really taken a leadership role to help, kind of take them under his wing a little bit. So maybe he sees Leon, his decision as, one that was for the better, stick with your decision. Don't necessarily be so quick to look elsewhere.
Yeah. On Demas transfer, I know there's a lot of speculation about possibly doing it. And I know especially towards like the end of his cycle to where he was about to sign and he took those visits to the Gators and the Oklahoma Sooners, I believe. A lot of people was thinking he was going to leave. I talked to Demas every other day or so. And so he always gave me a heads up, whatever he was thinking. He never told me once that he was thinking about transferring. And then Footwork's really involved in all that. He's a really good guy, especially for the Aggies. He trains all those guys. I mean, he had Isaiah Spiller there today. He had the whole defensive line group last week. So, I mean, he's very involved in A&M and just overall the Texas training.
Yeah, definitely an asset. Anytime he puts something out, I'm looking at it, I'm trying to figure out what he's saying or, what the inside scoop is.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, looking forward to seeing Demas Cup. Wish Shadrack the best. Hopefully that's going to work out for him.
Yep.
TCU's a cool team,
Yeah, I've always loved TCU. I've always loved their jerseys. I think that's a huge pull for people.
Yeah, maybe you count them as kind of the Oregon of Texas.
Yeah, them or Texas Tech. I like Texas Tech as well. I've always loved those two schools, like jersey wise.
Have you been to a TCU game?
No, I actually haven't. I know. I almost played there because I used to play football all the time. I almost played there for a game, and then they moved it to SMU. So I was really excited to go to TCU for that. But I hope to make one at least sometime just to see some guys that I've talked to that went there.
Yeah, it may not seat 100,000 or something like that, but that's a really nice stadium. They've really done a good job with fitting it in over there. I've been to a number of games, and I enjoy each time I go. Fans are really nice too.
Mhm.
People around there are great. So he should like it there. Hopefully him and Evans will kick it off, and
Oh yeah,
they'll make some waves there. I think they
yeah.
will.
Texas a few times.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if there's one place, if you're transferring from Texas A&M, if there's one place I could ask you to go, it'd probably be TCU or Tech.
TCU Tech.
Go bomb the Big 12, make some noise. Because I wanna play them more. I want to play Tech and TCU more.
Mhm.
That'd be fun. I think that'd be really fun.
Yeah, I was teasing my Longhorn friend. I'm like, hey, so Shadrack's going over to TCU. We're gonna make it. What is it? 7 in a row. Make it 8 in a row next year.
Yeah,
I got to give them hell, right?
yeah. I mean, that'd be awesome if they can continue that streak right now. That's insane.
Yeah, it'd be an interesting year with who TCU has on the field. Got some high level guys, in there in some spots. Longhorns, hitting that gas. That's for sure, right?
Yeah.
No brakes. So, I mean, everybody knows it at this point. There's there's no denying it.
Yeah.
So let's go back a few months. We talked a little bit in our first go around with getting this off the ground between Bryce Foster, Toon Meese, and LJ.
Mm-hmm.
What was your confidence level on each one of them leading up to their commitment?
Oh, Bryce. A few days before it, I put a crystal ball in. I knew a little bit. I knew it was starting to go our way a little bit, but I kind of just threw it in there as a guess because I had a weird feeling in my gut that it was just gonna keep going our way. So I was like, all right, if it goes in, it gets right. It's right. I mean, I haven't missed one I didn't miss that one that whole cycle. So I was like, if it misses, it misses. And I think it was like the night before or the 2 nights before, it was going A&M's way pretty big.
Mm.
So I kind of knew going into that one that was going to be ours. But at the time of the crystal ball, I was kind of clueless, to be honest, other than the one thing I had. LJ, I know we got him. I think he committed on the 4th. I think I knew on the 1st. And I think that's when most people started knowing. I think that's when apparently they think a lot of people thought that the Texas staff had told people at 24/7 and all that. Because immediately they believe as soon as they told the A&M staff that they're going there, the whole insiders just flipped their predictions to A&M. So that was that whole thing.
What do you mean when the A&M staff was told, or the A&M staff told who?
I mean, whenever LJ told Texas that he wasn't going to be going there, I think that's when something got out and everyone started public. And I kind of felt bad for that because I had no idea that had happened until like the day after he signed. So that was bad. That was bad. It was a bad look.
For who and for what?
For Texas, because the whole thing about it was like as soon as they believed that he had sounded that day to A&M, they told Texas staff, and so everyone was thinking that Texas staff told someone, and then it got 24/7 or something like that, or those websites, and those whole predictions just flooded in. So that's why going to the sign day, everyone kind of knew it was A&M. But that's gonna happen, and then Tumishe, I had known for a while that was gonna happen. Him and Shamar both, I knew that for a while that they're gonna be there. But Tumishe, I think a whole May, like the May before that signing day, I was saying while he was coming to Ohio State, like he's gonna be an Aggie, like he's gonna find a way to be an Aggie. And I kept on trusting it. I kept on keeping my contact open to Tumishe, and they decommitted. And then I think it was sometime in like December that year, October, I believe he sent in a group chat with all me and the recruits that he was going to go to A&M. So he had to keep it quiet the whole time. And then eventually everyone started catching on.
How long did you know for?
I can't remember when he signed, but I knew for about 3 or 4 months before. I knew for a while because both him and Shamar had said on the same day that it was going to be A&M. The whole group chat of like a bunch of commits at the time.
That's interesting that they did that so far out and then stuck with that for so long.
Yeah, because it was at a point where everything started going our way, recruiting wise. I think once they hopped onto that train, they never had a reason to hop off. Shamar kept on getting recruited by Alabama really hard, and as well as Texas. Texas was there the whole way. And then once Tumishe kind of committed, I kind of knew that one was over with. I'm not quite sure who else was going for that one. I think Ohio State, once he decommitted, they kind of backed off a little bit on him. I'm not sure who else was pursuing him up to signing day. I think Oklahoma was, but that's it. That I know of, at least.
Yeah, certainly any of those top guys are kind of big deal, especially from what I pay attention to on keeping some guys in state. And Tumishe, you know, with the decommitment from Ohio State, like if we got to keep this guy home. I mean, that's kind of where we're moving to, right? But, you know, Alabama's recruiting hard. You said they were going after Shamar real hard, and for him to stick with that and stay with that and stay in Texas, I think shows his wisdom, and he's wise beyond his years.
Yeah.
You know, so in each one of their commits, I would, maybe besides Bryce Foster, I'm sure Henderson was kind of a big deal in that one. Is Terry Price, was he a big deal for Shamar and Tumishe?
Oh yeah, I'm for Tumishe. I'm pretty sure he was the main guy. For Shamar, I'm pretty sure he was the main guy for him as well. But Tommy Robinson, I think the whole staff was on both of them. I think for both of them, that was the whole staff. But Terry Price is involved in nearly everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I think other than Price, I think the one guy that's involved in everything is Elijah Robinson. I think he's in every single call. He's a lot of the offers that you'll see at receiver or tight end or quarterback or whatever. You'll see at the position like Daryl Dickey, and then you'll see Elijah Robinson because he was also in the call or something like that. So he's just very involved in it all.
You know, was it about a year ago? I think Penn State was going after Elijah, right? And I was like, you know, I want to see some 247 crystal balls on where they think he's going to go, Penn State, or if he's going to stay with us. I knew that was his alma mater, right? I'm like, I was watching that, but just about as close as I watch a recruit when they're getting, you know, if they plan things out and you can watch it and you can see and follow the updates. I was following that closely. I love that guy.
That was scary. I know that was because that's where he graduated college from.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the big worry about it, and that he probably would have a bigger role there. But I think we moneyballed him. We moneyballed him, kept him home. So that was huge because if we didn't keep Robinson, that class wouldn't be nearly the same. I don't think.
Well, you know, it's almost like there's a bit of a trend going on, and I really hope it continues. I mean, I know there's going to be some mix up at some point, especially if we, you know, continue winning things like Orange Bowls and stuff like that, right? But was it it's Kansas, right, that made a pretty hard run at Elko in the last few months?
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, Penn State going after Robinson, he stays home. You know, Alabama trying to hit Shamar real hard, he stays home. Elko stays home. So, I mean, I know we've had a couple leave for some things, you know, and a lot of those tend to make sense like that, you know, closer to home or something like that. But when those guys stay home, I think it really shows their belief in the program. You get that same vibe?
Yeah. I think that's part of the thing with Jimbo Fisher is that whenever they come, most of those guys, when they come to the program, they don't have as good as a resume, but whenever they're leaving A&M, they have a much higher role than most people would have ever thought coming into A&M. Especially like Elijah Robinson. He came from Temple, and now he's getting DC offers everywhere. He has Mike Elko, who's probably going to get a really good school, probably be head coach somewhere really good next year, if he does choose to leave. So that'll be interesting, but it's insane how much Jimbo Fisher has changed, especially the coaching staff quality.
Yeah, so, you know, we talking about a lot of these coaches and what they bring to the table. I read recently where ex-Alabama player, I believe, Marlon Humphrey was talking about A&M and just how the campus and the facilities were just basically the best. Now, of course, he still paid his due to his alma mater, right? And so
Yeah.
he still make the
Yeah.
same decision. Very good way to roll that.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that's true, but are commits citing facilities, those kinds of things on a regular basis as reasons why they're going? Is it a deciding factor? Or is it maybe more of a prevention factor if you don't have them?
I think it's probably the prevention thing. I don't think as a recruit, I don't think anyone is going there for the facilities, but I think that's a big thing that they do look at, especially the nutritional system at A&M. They have a whole really good staff there. That's something that A&M does use actively in recruiting. They say all that, and then you have all that room. Like the whole team can be solo practicing, just one-on-one guys, and you have extra room. I mean, those facilities do make a lot more of a difference. And I know there was one guy last class. I can't remember his name, but he was like sold on those, and that's what made us get into the list at the beginning, because we're at the beginning of it, we weren't really in it, and we got into that list just for that sole reason because we were on him, and he really liked it. And he had never been to College Station before, and he ended up signing with us.
So it's maybe fair to say like the facilities can like break you, maybe get you off the list and or get you on the list, but
Yeah.
they don't necessarily get you into the top 3.
Exactly. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. I mean, of course we have, alumni, the school have invested a lot so that we could get these things, and
Yeah.
Over time, it looks like it's paying dividends. We're getting in the mix. I mean, there's been quite a few guys dropping some top 8s and some top 10s and stuff. And I'm like, okay, excited to see that. I think it looks like there's even a few more 5 stars that are starting to, roll in that way.
Yeah.
Last time we talked about June and the excitement that's coming with all the release of the recruits, as I like to maybe refer to it, since they can start taking visits again, right? You say, I took a double take the first time you told me, something like 22 5-star recruits are planning to be on A&M's campus in the month of June?
Through 2022 and 23, yeah.
So through June 22 and June 23rd, all in
through just the whole month of June, 2023 and 2022 class kids.
Oh, okay. So it does include 23.
Yeah.
Okay. But either way, I'm like, that's a lot of 5 stars. And
yeah,
just to land even 3 would be what a bit of an uptick. Who'd we have this last class? Shamar.
We had Shamar. Tamisha ended up as 1. LJ got dropped for whatever reason. Bryce somehow didn't be a 5-star. I think we only had 2.
I'll check while we're discussing, but yeah, I think it was somewhere right around there. I think Banks was a 4-star still.
Yeah, he was 4-star.
So,
Kendall Daniels made that. I think he was top 50. I mean, he's gone now, but we signed a top 50 safety there.
Yeah, so that's exciting. And like I said, to land 2 or 3, I think in the last, I need to double check this. I think maybe in the last, since we've been in the SEC, we have had 1 class of 2 with 2 5-stars per 247. Maybe it was there was 1 class with 3. I may be getting that one off or whatever, but I think that's been it.
Yeah.
So even to just repeat a 3 and even slide in there with a 4th or something would be, I mean, I just think monumental, progress. So getting them on campus has got to be huge. Just sit them down in front of some barbecue with Terry Price.
Oh yeah.
And the deal's done. Let's get also, because I want to kind of flesh this one out one more time too, because I think it's real important for others that are going to be listening to this to really hear, because one of the things that we do maybe get, and I'm not afraid of criticism, because the point is that if we know what it is, we can get better, right? But you hear somewhat regularly, would you say, and maybe you can speak to the frequency before you kind of confirm, right? But that if there's any knock on A&M, there's not as much to do in town as there might be in say Austin. Let's just say Austin.
Yeah,
is that about right?
It's a lot more to do at Austin. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's quite A&M's problem to fix. I think it's kind of more as people of Bryan and College Station. I think that's something that's going to get better over time. And I think a lot of people have started to realize that, and they've started to find ways to get rid of that negative piece, kind of make it into a positive. But right now, I think that's the one thing about A&M that kind of scares some guys off, is that once you get there, you'll have fun for like maybe a month or two, but once you do that, you've kind of done everything. So, yeah, I mean, I was thinking of since the last time we recorded, I was thinking about ways how to possibly fix that. I couldn't think of anything, even though I'm not decisions, but.
Well, the alumni base is creative, and I'm sure they'll figure out some ways and some things. As they're cooking up ideas. I agree. It's not the university's place to go try and fix those things. It's my place, say your place, or those whoever other Aggies have graduated and are in town already. Mm-hmm. And each time I drive in town, there's something new there. Now I'm going down University, and there's that huge student complex there.
Oh yeah.
It looks almost like, not as fancy as a hotel in Vegas, but like just the sheer volume of that thing.
Yeah.
Is amazing. And then you've got academic buildings and to the left that are architecture is amazing. I think it's coming along. Of course, I think it will continue that way. And,
yeah, it's gotten a lot better over the last few years. I was talking to my dad about it after the last one, and he said like he went down 2 years ago, and it looked a lot better than whenever he was in college. So I think that's probably a positive, and I think that gives a little bit of hope about it, because whenever I go down there each year, I see a lot more stuff. I'll give it that. Like, you see a lot more stuff, especially like restaurants and all that. Mm-hmm. That's just a little piece of it, but it really does. It changes the whole thing.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for somebody to put in a Top Golf.
Oh yeah, that'd be.
I feel like it's inevitable. I don't know what somebody's waiting on. If I had the cash, I'd do it tomorrow. Yeah. So I had an interesting thought to see, and this would place you sometime in the age of like maybe 13 or 14 with some of a couple of the next questions, right? So I'm not sure, how far back you go with this, and, how closely you've been keeping up for it. But I'm just, I know the roster real well. Who from the 18-19 class, more specifically, I guess the 2020 class as well, but the criteria is they were essentially non-players last year, and or they've been freshmen or redshirted that you think we're going to see on the field this year?
Ooh. One guy I'm a little bit hesitant to say, because I probably wouldn't have said this last year. Braden Mowry, Katie Taylor, defensive end, I believe. He was all suited up for each game last year. He didn't play much, if at all. Mm-hmm. I think that's one guy I'd like to see this year play. Brian Williams. I liked Brian Williams a lot. See a lot more of Layden Robinson, which I'm very excited for. I really like Layden. I'll give you one more. Jalen Preston.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll see a lot more of Jalen Preston.
He got quite a bit of action in the spring game, didn't he?
Yeah, he ran a lot of ones as well during the spring. Yeah, I was watching back the spring game, and he had 5 receptions in the first half, something like that. Really good.
So tell me what you think about this. My prediction, I think, really a low key guy, I think, is Adarius Jones.
Oh yeah.
I really got a good feeling about this guy. He reminds me a little bit of Dalen Mack. Mm-hmm. He's kind of got some quick get off. He's kind of built like McKinley Jackson, and I saw him quite a bit in the spring game. So I'm curious to see how he works his way up there. Maybe he's not the first guy out on the field, but I feel like he's going to play a significant role this year.
Yeah. If he gets opportunities, I think he can probably make some noise. I can't remember what class he did. I can't remember if he's like a junior. I think he is a junior. I think, or maybe he's a redshirt sophomore. I can't remember.
And
But
he might have medical redshirted too. And then this last year with COVID, he may still technically be a freshman. I'm not sure. And now he may end up being a sophomore this coming year.
yeah,
When it rolls out. I'm not
but yeah,
not perfect on that, but because things will play out a little bit weird. But I think last time I checked the roster, I think he still was listed as freshman. I think that may have been on the spring program. I have to go back and double check.
Mm-hmm.
Interested to see what that guy can do. I think he can be a terror. I think he was a 3-star as well.
Oh yeah. 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 A little bit more on the physical side, but I liked him a lot. He's not as physical as like Isaiah Rakes, but I actually did like Darius before he got hurt last year. So we'll see.
Yeah, Rakes is one of my favorite players as well. He came in, him and Walker, I think were kind of sort of side by side for me in that class as low key guys that are going to come in and make a splash or some sort of large impact. I mean, those are large human beings anyways. So
huge.
Feel like that dude, I see a video with him, like maybe his running back or something. It was a highlight reel. I can't quite remember now.
Yeah, those are hilarious. I actually did see those. Yeah, those are funny.
It
was actually pretty good.
Right.
Yeah.
And he kind of speaks to this thing I'm sure all coaches everywhere are kind of getting into this, but Jimbo seems more than most that these guys that play basketball as well, or they do a second sport. And maybe Isaiah doesn't do a second sport, but if you're getting the ball handed off to you, then you know how to do something.
Yeah.
You can handle it, how to handle yourself, and you've got good footwork. So I want to see that guy get the ball one day.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about that. Yeah. I remember when he first came on the campus, because I was really close with Isaiah. Not as close anymore since he's gone through college and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember as soon as he got on campus, there was one play that they kept on running where he was a scout team running back, and he had a blast doing it. He had a blast. It was hilarious.
I bet he could definitely be one of those guys that we see a lot more of this year as well. Now he was kind of my second choice, I think.
Yeah,
I think he was a class after a Darius, so maybe in 19, but yeah, something right around there. So you got this prediction.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Why don't you take me through that a little bit? I looked at it kind of close and I was like, okay, who's on here? And so I'm just ready to take notes.
All right. So first, whenever I build my class predictions, I always put in the guys that I really think are going to be Aggies. And then I go a little bit towards the guys that, we're probably to battle with one or two or maybe 3 schools with. And then I'll throw in 1 or 2 guys that were maybe a little bit further back from the bunch, but I have really good intel in. So that's kind of when it's a little bit. I'll walk you through the whole thing. Weigman, self-explanatory. I don't think there's a chance he leaves. Jamari and Miller. I'm pretty sure the Aggies have him as the number 1 guy in Texas, running back wise. I think it's gonna be either him or Citizen, but I'm a little I'm a little scared about Citizen, so I wasn't willing to put him on there. I was like, screw it, put Miller in there. Receiver was a little bit more tough because I didn't know how I wanted to go about that. Because there's so many different things that could happen. But I just threw in Chris Marshall and Kojo, I believe. Chris Marshall, I think A&M has quite the lead for. It's only getting better for them. USC is the other school there, but I don't see them getting him right now. Kojo, you can make a case for Georgia, maybe Ohio State, because Ohio State cooled down for a little bit, but they ran back up for him. I do think we get Kojo though. I kept Tagna in the class. Some people were a little bit worried about him leaving. I'm not too worried about it. Donovan Green was at tight end. Offensive tackles, I believe I put Cam and Kelvin on there. Mm-hmm. Cam, I think it's going to come down to an A&M, maybe OU battle, maybe Texas. I do think A&M's one of the top schools right now. Top 2 schools, I meant. And then Kelvin, I think right now, maybe Texas leads by just a little bit. I'm not too worried there. He's really close with Cam Dewberry. So I think if we do get Cam Dewberry, that's going to move a huge stick to A&M. And I put Jalen early at offensive guard. That one, I kind of regret putting in right now. I didn't think about Nito. I totally went brain dead on that one because I was at a point where I had 4 offensive tackles and I was like, I can't put any more offensive tackles. It just looks silly. So I was like, okay, maybe because we've talked to Cam about going to guard. So I was like, do I label Cam as a guard? I was like, all right, I'm just gonna go put a guard in. And I found Jalen early. And I was like, okay, maybe that was one of my guys where I was like, maybe the Aggies can make a play for. Maybe they can beat out Oklahoma for Jalen. I wish I put Nito, but I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it. Defensive end. I can't remember who I put there. I know I had Malik. I had someone else. I can't remember who the other guy was. I can't remember. But at defensive tackle, I had Bear. I had flipping Bear. I don't think that's gonna happen soon. I think that's more of a thing that might happen at the end of summer, early season. I had Jaden Scarlett, which I didn't know if I wanted to put him at end or interior because that's still something that's thrown up in the air. We're not quite sure if he gets on campus, and we don't know what's gonna happen there. And then I had crud. I can't remember the third guy I had there. I know I had 3. I wanted to put Dindy. I wanted to put Gabriel Dindy in there, but I felt like if I put another 5-star in there, it'd kind of lose my list relevance a little bit. I didn't want that feel to it. So I didn't put him in there, but it's very realistic that we can get him. And I thought about a Boar, but that's just too big of a long shot for me right now. I didn't want that quite ruining the whole list as me putting a Boar. And then linebackers, I went 3. I think I had Ish Harris, Martrell Harris, and then I had Harold Perkins. I think we lead for all 3 right now. That's a pretty bold take. I think we have a good lead for Harold. I'm not quite sure who's going to be the opposer there, but there's a few schools that are interested. Ish Harris would be a really hard beat over Oklahoma, but I do think we get that. And then Martrell Harris, the one school that stayed constant is A&M, so I'm going to stick with A&M there. And then corner, someone got mad at me for not putting Denver. I did not want to put Denver in there. I felt like that was kind of just like, I feel like now with how it's been trending, we're kind of going down. Texas is going up, Alabama's going up. So I didn't put him there. But I put Bobby Taylor, I put Julian Humphrey, which was interesting. He's not going to be camping this year, which I think is going to hurt that list. Because I feel like that's a big way for Julian to get into the class to be a take. I put Terrence Brooks in there. I think there's a little bit more ways to go there, but I do like A&M's shot there. And that safety, where I made a lot of people mad, I had Xavier Nwankpa, which I talk to Xavier every single day. I talk to Xavier every single day. I think it's going to be A&M and Ohio State. And I do think we win that one out if we continue to push. If it keeps trending our way. Right now, I think Ohio State's kind of gone down just a little bit because they lost a cornerback. He was really close to Indiana. And so A&M has been continuously going up. And I don't think right now we're leading or we're tied. We're probably a little bit down for him right now in terms of leading. But I do think if we really do want him, we'll get him. I took a pick out of him. I took him over Wilson, and I took him over third safety and Biddle. Biddle, I think, is going to go to Oklahoma. And then my last guy, I had Jared Kerr, which can go to Oklahoma. He can go to Texas, but I think we're going to get him if we do want him.
Quite the list.
Yeah. I stated in like the second paragraph because I knew some people would be like, it's not going to happen. I'm like, I don't expect this to happen because the lower rated guys will always emerge later in the cycle. And like a guy like Troy Stellato last year, he was a speedster out of Florida, I believe. He was like a low 3-star. And by the end of the cycle, he was a high 4-star and signed to Clemson. And so guys like that are going to pop up. They might not be as highly ranked as him, but there's going to be those guys that pop up. So I don't expect that to be nearly right. But that's right now, those are my best reads on those guys.
Well, look, I mean, it'll be fun just to like look back at it and see how many you do get right. I mean, that's kind of the beauty of it, of making the bold predictions. You know, most people aren't, they're kind of the couch king or whatever, right? And they're all, look back, and oh, that was a bad pick. There's no, if they had made a list, they wouldn't have done any better, right? So
Yeah.
it's just a good, fun thing to do and make a prediction, see how you do. And, who cares? Who cares if it's all right or whatever?
Off season, that post is as relevant as any post I can put out there right now.
Sure.
Right now, I'm just trying to get as much content out as I can without it being too So that was a good idea I had. Kind of pushed it out there. So let's hope that turns out well. I'll probably make another, I might make one after the summer, because in a month from now, we'll have a totally different read on things.
Mm-hmm.
Like, all is going to be taken officials. We'll have no idea. We'll have no idea how it's going to look in a month. Like, Kojo could go. Maybe he goes to Ohio State, and that whole risk might be ruined off of that one thing. So we'll see what happens, but it could change a lot over the next month. So I'm probably put one out in July, probably.
Well, so out of that list, you had, if I counted correctly, it was about five stars that you predicted, right? Those were
how you rated Scylla and Weigman and all them.
So those were Weigman's currently 5-star, right?
Yeah, he's a 5-star, but there's only 32 5-stars per class, but he's number 33. So it kind of depends. And then Scylla, one service, he was 5-star, one service, he was 4-star. So I labeled him as a 5-star.
Mm-hmm. And then, if I'm not mistaken, Kelvin Banks is 1.
Yeah, he's a 5-star.
Is Cam Dewberry 1 as well?
Not yet. 24/7 has him super low. I think that's the thing that's killing him right now. On Rivals, he's like 23rd, I think.
Okay.
So
no, Harold Perkins is up there.
Yeah, Harold's a 5. And then
let's see. I think I got Weigman, Kelvin, Malik, Harold. Who's the other? Oh, is Xavier?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's per composite. Yeah.
Okay.
On composite, 5-star.
Well, and then it seems like I think I counted also about 3 stars on there. I don't think it was 4, but that's another place I like to look, to be honest, is to kind of see how many 3 stars are we dragging in? There's kind of that idea that you're going to need about 16 blue chip recruits to be able to really make a run. So they got to be 4 or 5-star. And so I like to see and track the 3 stars to see if it's trending low or, those 3 stars that we do take, what they do, after the fact. So that kind of talks about development, of course, and whatnot, but just to see how that changes over time. It just, to me, it's kind of it's a one mark of progress.
Yeah.
So I'm a person also, whenever I go to a game and it's not a conference game, I stay for the whole thing. I want to see the fourth quarter because I want to see the backup play.
Yeah.
Notorious, previously when we get to the, not always even in the third quarter or fourth, sometimes it's already happened in the first or second. Years past where they're still scoring on us, right? And or we're not scoring on them even with our first 1s and 2s. But then when our 2s and 3s and are for sure playing and 1s are basically out, I'm like, are we going to still move the ball? Are we going to still hold our ground? So those are big things for me to watch to see how our program develops.
I didn't quite think about it like that. I didn't quite think about it. I know I had a few 3 stars debating on where you wanted to put them. Like, I know Ish Harris was 3-star on one side. I know Martrell Harris is 3-star on one side. So that it kind of wonders there. But A&M developing 3 stars lately, had quite a list. Like Watermeyer and Anais, guys both going to be for sure drafted next year. Watermeyer is probably, without argument, is the number 1 tight end in the nation this year. He'll be a junior. And then you have Baylor Cupp, who's a 5-star, who really doesn't have a chance at beating him out until maybe in the season, if any. But A&M's done really good developing 3 stars lately.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it, to be honest. It's been, there's been lots of breaths of fresh air, and that being one of them, where it's like, wow, we're getting really great production out of these guys. So that's just one way of seeing it, but then also to know how we develop them is huge. Yeah. So you reached out to your buddy for that edit, right?
Oh yeah, Hayes. Yeah. That's my boy.
Yeah. So kind of a favor kind of situation? I mean, how long did it take him to put that together?
30, 40 minutes.
Really? Man.
We were on FaceTime, and I was like, "Hey, I'm making a list," and I was like, because it was me, Hayes, and it was one of our Sooner buddies that we used to talk to a lot all the time. And I think we had Peyton Kirkland in there. And I was like, I'm about to make a list. You want to help? And he was like, sure. And he was like, do you need like an edit for it? I was like, sure. I mean, because whenever I put together, I got a post out tonight where it's like my 4 most important visitors. I found out with the algorithm of Instagram, if I use their Instagram app to make a layout for it, and I put pictures like that, and I just make a template for it, it never does quite as well. Like that post right now is like 300 likes. But since I used Hayes' edit, and I use this Hayes edit, it has an algorithm built into that, just based off of how Hayes' pictures do, because he gets thousands of likes. Normally, if I made that post with the little templates on it, it would have got 500 likes most. But since I use Hayes, it has like 1.5K likes right now.
So are you saying Instagram knows if it's a Hayes Fawcett edit or picture?
I think it's a little bit of that, and then it's kind of how the pictures are built, because whenever you put certain things or certain looks or colors on a picture, it kind of goes into that whatever they want on the explore page. And so if it's black and white filter, it's not going to do very, very well. But if you get it more colorful and you put all these layers on it and all that, it's gonna look a lot better, and they'll put it on an explore page and you'll get more likes and result of it.
Wow, that's very, I mean, fascinating.
Yeah,
such a thing was even taking place. I mean, I guess there's some conspiracy theorists out there would kind of go with these algorithms, thinking they do this and they do that, but
yeah, they every once in a while, so it's kind of hard to keep track of. And especially because like now in the algorithm, they changed it like 2 months ago to where likes are now the least important thing in your algorithm. Now it's the bookmarks that are the first thing. Because if you bookmark a post, then it goes on the more. Normally it was the likes. It started off as the likes and then went to the shares. But now it's the bookmarks. That's like the number one thing. So I'll send it to a bunch of group chats, tell them to bookmark it. So the bookmarks does so much more than anything else they could do on that post. I mean, maybe if you share on a story, I mean, that's probably the best thing if you have a good following. But if the common person, if you want to support somebody, then bookmark it.
Wow. How did you know that was how the algorithm was trending? Was it?
It was kind of like observing my post over the time, because whenever I make a post, I'm so nervous about how it's going to do, because one post can just kill your algorithm for the whole month. So sometimes I'll chop them down while they're doing bad. And so most of the time like the last few posts I've put Travion Williams, the most underrated back, and I put a ton of videos. So if someone agrees with it, they'll put on like a story and something like that. So that'll build on it. But if you put out something that's not as interactive, or something of that nature, it won't get as much interaction. And so that then it kind of made me notice that that's kind of what the algorithm was leaning on, was how much they were posting it and sharing it and all that. So now I kind of try to push it to be more interactive as a post, to where people can agree or disagree, or add to it or subtract from it.
So people can, when you say add or subtract, what do you mean though?
See, with my following, there's a very select amount of people that will follow me. Like there'll be Aggies, but then there'll also be, it's probably like 70% Aggies on my page, and there'll probably be like 30% other schools. And so those people can come in and kind of not quite humble you, but they'll kind of put the honest input from a non-Aggie fan, and that'll be subtracted from it in my mind, at least. That's kind of how I definition it.
So like if they comment or something like that, is that, you count that as like a subtraction? Is that what you mean?
It depends. Like if it's like them saying no, Travion Williams isn't the most underrated back, that's just a subtraction from it.
Okay.
Since it's more of a national eye, since they didn't see him as much, and it depends on the person's opinion. It's not nothing bit good or bad. It's just kind of like, it's just the algorithm part of it. And because if someone disagrees and it starts a whole war, I'll let it go on. The comments make it go on more. It makes it reach more of my followers, because whenever you post something, if you have 100 followers, it'll only show up on the first 15, 20 followers. If one of your followers like it, then it'll be shown to like another one or two. So it kind of just depends on that. So you can let it fire away and try not to let it limit unless it starts getting to a personal level to where people are going at each other or leaking things, like address. Like there was a situation last year where I had guys leaking each other's addresses in the comments. So that's when you chop it down. But other than that, let them go. Let them go at it.
You need to take this down or anything like that?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, it depends on which thing. I mean, I've had it from fans, like not fans, but fans of the team. Like, oh, this is bad look, because that's how it kind of was like 1 or 2 years ago. I'd kind of say everything I thought, kind of learn how to limit that. So now my followers keep it in track, and I haven't had any mistakes. And then there's been a few times where I might have let something get posted that wasn't supposed to get posted. So I've had like a staff member tell me to take it down. Those get scary, but I mean, I haven't had any of those situations in months. I've kind of learned how to deal with it now and just I read over everything twice. I've made my page as family friendly as possible. And I make sure now, because I had Xavier Nwangpa take over my story, and I didn't quite read over the dead period rules. So there was,
so
yeah,
something you love so much, you don't want to mess up.
mm-hmm.
So, but so definitely keep that in mind. Is I'm sure it's fun to share things that are real exciting whenever you can or as soon as you know them, but don't feel like you ever have to.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing that used to get me bad. Like I was like, as soon as I'd get it, I used to be so self-conscious with people bidding me to things, and I kind of realized releasing all that does so much more harm than being first or second or third or whatever. Mm-hmm. So now I kind of hold on to it until someone says, like, I ask the recruit and then I'll ask a coach if I can post this. If I get both yeses, I'll say it. I think it was like a month ago, or it was maybe 2 months ago. Whenever we played the Longhorns in baseball, Gabriel Dindy came down for a week. He knew that, and he told me, he requested me to wait to put it out for about 2 weeks until he left. He was there for a week, but 2 weeks after. And then I was finally able to release it. Because he was in an interview and he told, I think it was 24/7 Sports in an interview, that they could put that out. So he was like, all right, just go ahead and put it out. I was like, all right. So that way it's a lot more safe instead of me just firing it away. And then I ruin relationships with the players and the coaches.
I probably missed on 247 that they had put anything out saying that he was visiting A&M. Was that what the deal was? He was there for a week visiting?
He was there for a week. I think he was there with friends, and then I think he was kind of relaxed. He was just chilling there. I don't think it was anything too big. I know he did like it a lot, though. It was a little bit back, though.
He did like it, or he didn't?
He did.
He did. Yeah. I remember you saying there was a big name on campus, but you couldn't say anything. So.
Yeah, that's probably who it was. Yeah.
Okay. Very interesting. Great win at that time in the baseball game. I don't care how we're doing right now, right?
Yeah.
Or at least if we're doing this bad, it makes the rest of the season feel a lot better.
Yeah, we have 3 games in the series with LSU in baseball. We just won the first one I saw, so that's good.
Oh, do they start tonight? Yeah,
we won tonight, and I think all we had to do was at least win 2, and we have a good shot at getting in. So I think if we only win 1, I think we're not into the little finals. But I'm not a big baseball fan, so I'm not quite sure the circumstances there.
Yeah, I try and keep up as much as I can. Definitely can hash that out a little bit more. There are some great baseball games out there. Great baseball games. Did you see Jimbo mention Texas not on our radar?
Oh, yeah.
And that, he doesn't see it being something in the next 10 years. What do you think?
I'm not mad about it. I mean, don't give them a reason. I mean, right now their schedule weakness is a pro for us. Like, that's such a pro, because this year I saw a tweet earlier today. It was like Louisiana might be their hardest home game. That might be the most contested home game that they have all year. I mean, that's something you can try to show it to, like, Bryce Henderson. Show them our schedule. We'll have Alabama on in College Station this year. That's a huge plus. I don't think A&M has anything quite to gain in that game other than pride, maybe, in that, or getting revenge about it, because the overall series record is not that good for us. But I mean, if you go in that game and you win it, you don't gain too much. I mean, maybe you get one or two recruits off of it, but if you don't play it, you'll probably still get at least one of those recruits, and you don't give them a reason to think. You don't give recruits a reason to think that they own Texas, the state of Texas at least.
Right.
It's just not there for us.
Yeah. It's kind of a weird feeling for me. I've been to those games. I was texting back and forth with my buddy, in 2011 when it happened. I got some pretty interesting responses that night. I'm sure in a mix of pride and other various adult beverages, but
Yeah.
For me, a lot of times, it is fun and games, and I respect the rivalry. I respect UT. If by no other reason, I didn't just call them TU at that very instance, but there's a time and a place for that. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
However, there's a respect that comes along with it. And just like if I'm a Mavs fan, I can respect what the Spurs have done. I'm not beyond that. However, when we play, I'm ready to kick that. So, but I don't find myself being that worried about it.
Yeah.
I really don't. So
I played them this year. We would have won pretty bad, I think. If we could play in this upcoming year, I'd say yes. As much as I don't think we need to play it, I'd say yes, because with how our quality of D line and their quality of O line right now, I think that would probably end the game by itself. I mean, they don't quite have anything on O line right now. They lost Cosme. They lost all those guys. We're bringing back the Marvin Leal, PV, Tyree Wilson, Johnson.
mm-hmm.
I'd be fine with playing the game. I have nothing against playing the game, but I don't think it has more positives than negatives to playing it.
Yeah, I don't. It's one of those things that I'm not chomping at the bit necessarily. I'd love to play the game, and I would if it were available, and I'd go. Hold that game in Texas Motor Speedway for that first time back. I'll be there. But the thing of it is, I'm trying to figure out why I need it at this moment. So it is what it is. So Umlang can say whatever he wants to say. I don't care. Yeah. It kind of rolls off my back. I don't live in the past anymore.
Yep.
And when it comes down to it, I have a hard time believing that we wouldn't have won any game since 2012.
Oh yeah.
We can go through this next time if you want. We'll just go year by year and kind of talk about which games we're going to go which way. I feel 90% sure that I'd have a better case to say A&M wins 2012, A&M wins 2013, and so on down the list. So, but I digress. If anything, I think either Umlang is hugely trolling or being a complete genius to kind of unite the two fan bases in banter so that the universities are forced to put the game back in.
Yeah. If he can get that done, I won't be mad about it. I won't be mad about us scheduling it. I'd just be more mad about us losing it possibly. I don't have any worries. Like if we played it the next 6 years, I don't have any worry about losing any of them right now. But the next opening we have is like 10 years down. So scheduling it 10 years away in a major rivalry could hurt. Because we have no idea who's going to be our head coach in 10 years. No idea who's going to be head quarterback. No idea who's even being alive. I don't know. But I'm down for us rescheduling it.
Yeah, I'm sure they could make it happen if they wanted to. It's one of those things. But right now, that's not the goal anyways. Playing Texas is not the goal. The goal is something much larger. They may not like to hear that, but sorry, it is what it is. I'm
Uh,
unapologetic about it. So,
mhm.
um, yeah, it's going to be interesting. I may, if things kind of went the way they go, it'd be kind of awesome. I would enjoy having him laying on and talking to the dude and see what he's got to say about things. And I'm sure he's a somewhat down to earth guy, and we'll talk, and it's probably all in good fun. I mean, on Saturday mornings, I'm texting back and forth with my buddy, and we're just going back and forth at it. So, I mean, I love it.
Yeah.
Bring it on. That's one of the things I miss probably most about the game is just being able to do all the back and forth stuff.
Yeah.
And so we can still do it in recruiting battles and, debating whether or not they're back and all sorts of things like that. I win that most of the time. So, whatever. Well, thanks, man, for coming on tonight.
Huh?
One of the things I wanted to definitely make sure that we got on here is, kind of making sure everybody knows where to find you at, because you got to get bookmarked.
Oh yeah.
So where's the best place to find all the info?
Instagram and Twitter. Those are the two main places I'm at right now. I mean, I made a Musically. I'm not a Musically, a TikTok now. I tried divulging in that. Haven't posted on in a while, but yeah, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter for sure.
Awesome. I'm a rabid follower, so I'm looking forward to the next update, and June's right around the corner. So hopefully some
I'm
action.
having stuff this week. I know that.
What's that?
I'm gonna have some good stuff this week. I have a few visit announcements about that.
Like Friday or next week?
Sunday to Thursday, I'll have about 3 visit announcements that I know of right now.
All right. Well, maybe we'll talk about those next week.
All right.